there, all you history buffs. Are you ready to take a trip back to the year 1869?
A year packed with landmark moments. Did you know this was the year the Transcontinental Railroad was completed? That's right, East met West and it changed everything.
Fashion was a whole vibe too. Bustles and corsets were all the rage, making it a real struggle for ladies to sit down.
And guess what? Photography was just getting started. People were literally posing for hours just to capture the perfect shot. Talk about dedication.
Hi, I'm Adrianne Cornejo.
And I'm Casey Kearfott, and we are with Cornejo and Kearfott Real Estate Team.
Did you know right here in Normal there is a historic haven for veterans and their families?
Come with us as we explore the soldiers and sailors, not only rich in history, but rich with love.
So let's dive in and find out what makes this place so special. We're absolutely loving how all of these buildings are getting fabulous makeovers and getting a second chance. Boys Row is now a row of charming single-family homes. The Children's Village has turned into a hub for all kinds of businesses, and the Heartland Theater is rocking it inside the community center, which used to be the administration building. It's so cool to see these spaces getting a fresh lease on life.
David Davis and Jesse Fell, amongst others, gave the land and money to soldiers and sailors, and then the state picked Normal as its location. It operated for 114 years, and it provided shelter, clothes, food, education, and medical to thousands of children. World War I caused a need for additional facilities to house and care for 500 children and 68 employees. Prior to 1931, it was called the Illinois Orphans Home. It was built in 1869 and closed in 1979. Prior to opening, temporary housing was on site and children were cared for on the grounds for 114 years. The eagle sculpture outside the community center at One Normal Plaza is from the top of the original building that was taken down in 1961 and was restored and returned to the grounds in 1998. Originally called the Civil War Orphans Home, the ISSCS was founded in 1865 by the Illinois state legislature. It housed needy children of the Civil War veterans. In May of 1867, Illinois picked Normal as the spot for the home and set up 3 temporary facilities in Bloomington and Springfield to care for the children while construction was underway. The Illinois Soldiers and Sailors Home opened its doors in 1869 to care for the orphans of the Civil War, which had wrapped up just 4 years earlier in 1865. It was the very first facility of its kind in Illinois. In 1899, after the Spanish-American War, the Civil War Orphans Home expanded to include children of soldiers and sailors from that conflict.
By 1907, the home began accepting orphans of veterans from any war, as well as other dependent orphans when space allowed. Over the years, the home continued to admit needy children of veterans from all wars. The Illinois Soldiers and Sailors Home was situated between Pine, Beach, Oglesby, and Redmond in Normal, and at its maximum, it housed up to 586 children. The original administration building was opened on June 17, 1869, and torn down in 1961. The building encompassed everything when it opened, including housing, school, medical, entertainment, and a cafeteria. It was 4 stories tall and Victorian Romanesque in style. It housed 180 residents, and many important people visited, including First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. It's worth mentioning that when the new facility opened, it had its fair share of issues. The heating system was faulty. There were no closets, no living quarters for the superintendent and her daughters, not to mention a lack of water supply. Thankfully, those problems were sorted out over time. The original administration building stood where the Community Activity Center stands today.
This building houses the Heartland Theater Company and has spaces for many community activities. From 1998 to 2009, the ISSCS Historical Preservation Society worked to preserve the site and its stories. Their efforts led to the restoration of the Eagle Monument and the creation of an exhibit showcasing ISSCS's history and the Community Activity Center. Projects continued to meet the children's needs, and in 1872 they added a kitchen, laundry, boiler house, steam heating plant, and school. A hospital was added in 1881, later becoming a training building for girls when a new hospital was built in 1899. Renovations in 1889 included a chapel, dining hall, playrooms, bathrooms, with later additions of an electrical light plant and an industrial education building.
As studies highlighted the importance of a home-like environment for orphans, the Illinois Orphans Home embraced these insights and adapted its approach, starting with the first 5 cottages of Girls Row. These were built between 1904 and 1916, with 3 more added in 1927 for a total of 8. The American Foursquare-style buildings each housed up to 38 girls. A fun fact about these are that the boys helped out by building the doors, window frames, and casings as part of their practical training. Today, only 2 of these cottages are still standing.
Okay, so we're standing in front of the gymnasium. It was built in 1917. It cost $25,000 and it was built entirely out of brick. It also had modern lighting and heating.
Pretty fancy for that time.
Yeah, and it housed a pool, a gym, and a stage.
Sports and activities were really important for keeping the kids healthy and active. So in the 1890s, the home started offering lots of sports and physical education classes, including baseball, basketball, football, track, and gymnastics.
Yeah, and then in 1933, community volunteers began having additional classes such as writing,
acting, dance.
Oh, and then on the weekends they would do activities based on age group. They continued adding more home-like settings and they built Boys Row. It was constructed over a 7-year period in the 1920s.
Featuring American Foursquare construction, each home could house up to 30 boys. Plenty of room for adventure and shenanigans. Mulberry School Building was opened in 1921. It is currently used as a school today. In 1916, Illinois State Normal University began running the school's education program on site until somewhere between 1961 and 1964, when ISSCS students started attending ISNU's University High School and Metcalf schools. The original classrooms were in the main building, but the home eventually had 3 separate school buildings. The last school built on the grounds opened in 1921.
The last phase of a home-like setting was called the Children's Village, also known today as Normandy Village.
They built them beginning in 1930 in a Tudor revival-style cottage to accommodate the additional children. They were grouped by age and gender, and each had a painting of a different nursery rhyme on a wooden cutout above the fireplace. Some still reside in the original buildings and locations today.
Over time, the home expanded to include 25 cottages along Girls Row, Boys Row, and Children's Village. By 1937, every child there was living in these cottages, looked after by caring house mothers and house fathers. It is approximately 7.88 acres and listed in the National Registry of Historical Places. The buildings ranged in age from 1869 to 1937. When ISSCS marked its centennial in July of 1969, it remained the largest state-supported facility for dependent children. Listen up, ghost enthusiasts. Rumor has it, at night, tiny orbs can be spotted inside this building.
But that's not all. People say just driving by or stepping inside can hit you with a wave of sadness.
Like the building itself has some serious mood swings. So if you're feeling brave and you want to test your luck, grab a flashlight and come check it out.
But be prepared for some paranormal activity. You never know what you're going to find.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on our latest content.
And as always, be confident, be inspired, and be moved. Thanks for watching.